They called it the Dark Ages, but darkness is only the absence of light. While Europe slept in the shadow of forgotten empires, another world was awakening, not with swords or conquests, but with questions, with scrolls, with stars. From the dusty courtyards of Baghdad to the candlelit libraries of Andalusia, a golden flame was kindled, a flame of knowledge, of faith, and of wonder. This is the story of the Islamic Golden Age, a story where reason and revelation walked hand in hand, where scholars became poets, where physicians became philosophers, where heaven was studied through the language of numbers, and the soul through the study of light. Tonight, we don't just tell a history, we walk through a civilization's heartbeat. Imagine a city built in circles, like the rings of Saturn. At its core, not a throne, but a library. Baghdad, 9th century. Here, in the heart of the Abbasid Caliphate, stood the Beit al-Hikmah, the House of Wisdom, a sanctuary for ideas, where the ancient tongues of Greece, Persia, India, and Egypt were given a new voice in Arabic. They didn't just translate, they transformed. Ptolemy became Al-Battani, Hippocrates became Al-Razi. Euclid inspired the architecture of mosques and cities. Knowledge wasn't hoarded, it was shared, it was sacred. And here, science wasn't separate from faith, it was a form of worship. Al-Kindi, the first true philosopher of Islam, believed everything, vibrated with divine order, even music. He wrote that sound could heal the soul and sharpen the intellect. He decoded cryptography, refined optics, and laid the foundations of pharmacology. But his most beautiful idea? That philosophy is the path to understanding God's creation and thus loving the Creator more deeply. He was mocked, he was exiled, but his light did not dim, it passed on. Then came Al-Farabi, called the second teacher after Aristotle. In his mind lived a city, a virtuous city, where the ruler is both a philosopher and a prophet, where laws are guided by reason and society by ethics. He believed humans rise in levels of intellect, like climbing a divine ladder, and at the top, unity with the active intellect, a force that connects all rational souls. Sound mystical? It was meant to be. He wanted to bridge logic and light, and he succeeded. He was called Ibn Sina, Avicenna. At 16, he cured a king. At 18, he mastered Aristotle. By 57, he had written over 400 works. His canon of medicine diagnosed everything from measles to diabetes, but it also offered ethics for healing, treating not just the body, but the spirit. But Avicenna wasn't just a physician, he dreamed in metaphysics. He asked, if a man were suspended in the air with no senses, would he still know he existed? His answer, yes, because consciousness is deeper than the body. It is the whisper of the soul. In Córdoba, the city of light in Muslim Spain, lived a man who loved Aristotle more than any other, Ibn Rushd or Averroes. He wrote commentaries so powerful they reawakened Europe. His belief? Truth is one, but it speaks in two languages, the language of faith and the language of reason. He warned against blind imitation. He urged the freedom of thought, and for that, he was banished. His books were burned, but ideas are not wood. They survived in Thomas Aquinas, in Maimonides, in Dante, and in you, if you listen closely. To study the stars was an act of prayer. Alhazen played with light and lenses and accidentally invented the camera. Al-Khwarizmi invented algorithms and lent his name to all of algebra. Al-Biruni measured the Earth's radius using shadows and got it nearly perfect. They weren't atheists, nor were they blindly religious. They were seekers. They believed that to know creation was to understand the Creator. In hospitals, physicians used music to heal. patients were treated freely, rich and poor alike. And women, they practiced medicine too. In the 10th century, but even stars fall, the Mongols came, the great libraries burned, political cracks grew into earthquakes, and a civilization that once lit the world dimmed. But its embers remained, translated into Latin, preserved in Hebrew, copied by monks. It sparked the Renaissance. It saved the Greeks. It reminded humanity that light can come from anywhere. The Islamic Golden Age was not just a moment, it was a movement. It reminds us that civilization is a tapestry, woven from many hands, many tongues, many prayers, and that philosophy is not about answers. It's about asking better questions. If you've been moved by this story, explore the rest of our journey. Atlas of Thought episodes. Intro, the Atlas of Thought, Greek philosophy, birth of rational thought, Indian philosophy, Dharma, Moksha, and cosmic order, Chinese philosophy, harmony, Tao, and ritual. Subscribe to Mind Atlas. It's free, but for creators like us, it means the world. Like, comment, share. Let's build this journey together.